In the previous video, we saw how we could solve the multiple regression problem, or at least find the coefficient for size, which we had designated B1, using successive elimination after we had begun with 3 equations and 3 unknowns. In this video, we'll begin the process of solving the multiple regression problem entirely, again with 3 equations and 3 unknowns, but doing it using the matrix capabilities of Excel. To look at the way in which the matrix capabilities of Excel can be used to solve the multiple regression problem, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the data we have here and we're going to reformat it as a matrix and what is called in matrix terms a vector. To do that, the first thing we will do is delete the names. Then we will change this, the dependent variable, to a small y. Here we will clear the x values, or the x designators, and simply put in a capital X. And now, because matrices are always designated with bold letters, we'll bold the X and the Y. This is the dependent variable. It is called a vector in matrix terms. That is because it is a single column and several rows. A vector may also be a row and several columns, but vectors are always designated with small bold letters. The capital X, which is bolded, designates this entire set of data. This is a matrix with 3 columns and, in this case, 10 rows. Now, the first step in solving the multiple regression problem using the matrix capabilities of Excel is to generate a second matrix called X prime. X prime is the transpose of the X matrix. By transpose, what that means is that each column becomes a row in the new matrix. So, in order to generate the transpose matrix, I will say copy, and here I will say paste special, transpose, and OK. Now I have a matrix that goes outside our viewing area, but if we move to the right, we can see that I have the entire original matrix in a transposed form. The first column is now the first row. The second column is now the second row, and so on. This is a transposed matrix. Now, while I have the transposed matrix highlighted, I'm going to make it live in the sense that if I change a value here, it will change here by using the transposed function in Excel, which is equal transpose. And I will highlight the original matrix. When I push Control and Shift, hold them down and hit Enter, I now have a new matrix, and you can see here that it is the transpose matrix. So if I happen to change 225 to 224, it will change it to 224 over here. Okay, the next step in generating the multiple regression solution using the matrix capabilities of Excel is to create 2 new matrices, one called X prime X, which will be the multiplication of the transpose matrix times the original matrix. And I'll make this just a little narrower so that we can see the result of the second one, and I'm going to put it here, we're going to get the x prime y matrix. The x prime y matrix will be the multiplication of the transpose matrix times the original data. So here we will put the x prime x matrix, and we have to know, in using the matrix capabilities of Excel, the exact size of the matrix that we want to generate. Because the transpose matrix is 3 rows and 10 columns, and the original matrix is 3 columns and 10 rows, the new matrix will be 3 by 3. So I will type in the matrix multiplication function, mmult. I'll highlight, and this is Control-Shift right arrow. I've gotten all of the transpose matrix. I'll put in the comma, and then I'll highlight the original matrix and Control-Shift enter. Always Control-Shift enter. And you should be able to see that these values are exactly the same as the values that were on the left side of the 3 equations that we solved for B1 using successive elimination. That is, these 3 equations here. Okay, back to the second sheet. In these 3 cells, I'm going to put the result of x prime y. Because x prime has 3 rows and y has 1 column, the result of x prime y will be 3 rows and 1 column. So again, equal mmult. Control-Shift right arrow, a comma, and now we'll get the y variable, and again hold down Control and Shift and hit enter, and we get the values that were on the right side of these 3 equations here. This exactly the same values. So essentially what we have now is all of the values that will be multiplied by B1, B2, and B3 to get all of the resulting values on the right side of the equation. We're now going to solve these 3 equations for B1, B2, and B0.